Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
You're up first, then the others. Dr. Shealy, are you blissed?
Hey, I don't even need air bliss today. The fact that the country may survive is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I felt that the country would fall apart, literally. With
a lot of our class and instructors. I'm quite sure all of our class, all of our instructors at USA Prepares, all of us have felt the same way, Dr. Shealy. And it was very, very serious.
Hello?
And yes, we're here.
Good.
And it looks like it is the end of the Clinton dynasty.
I hope so. Good on them. Going where they need to go, hopefully. But just go away.
Yep. So now the question is, of all those who have paid to play, all those who've contributed to the Clinton dynasty, buying promises from Hillary and Bill, and
may they all sink to hell with her.
Yeah. So who is going to be in charge of the refund department of the Clinton of the Clinton Foundation when people have found out that their money was spent for parties and travel and
the daughter's wedding and God knows what else.
Yeah. And so the money has been spent, wasted, some of it still remaining, and I have a feeling that those who have contributed by giving bribes to the Clinton dynasty, I have a feeling that many of them are going to want their money back. And I was on the phone with Europe this morning, and I did not get permission to say with whom. So I won't mention specifically with whom. However, I was on the phone, and we talked about this, and we talked about the Secret Service. They are going to have their hands full with her. By the way, she seemed to have disappeared. She didn't even, she called Donald Trump, President-elect Donald Trump, last night and conceded. However, there's a report on the internet that John Podesta got the same message that, she was conceding. And her people were told, not by her, but by him, that it's not over yet. It was over. She gave in. She conceded. And the report on the internet said that her supporters were told it wasn't over yet. And it was over. So more lies.
She was supposed to get some public announced at 8:30 Eastern Time this morning. That's what I heard on the radio when I came to work.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I got the same message, the same report. But it is absolutely delightful that we don't have to listen to much more of her. And so now it's time, Donald Trump said that it's time for the nation to heal. However, I am looking at those people who were supporting her. And I don't want anything to do with them because they wanted to. Seriously,
you and me
they
together.
Yeah. They wanted to steal more from us, Dr. Shealy. Bruce Springsteen is one. How about the ultimate, the absolute ultimate sex for votes? How about the gal who said she would perform oral sex for, if you voted for Hillary, I guess this would, well, I don't know if it was male or females that she was talking to, but if you were going to vote for Hillary, she would perform oral sex. And she's a known person, a celebrity. That'd be Madonna, right? Madonna, sex for votes.
Right.
Now she backed out of it. Backed out of sex for votes. I guess she realized that would be prostitution. And so we'd have to call her a prostitute. Gosh. So maybe she still is a prostitute because she was trolling for sex and trade for votes. Dr. Shealy, I've never heard, maybe it's just, I don't know, I'm naive, but I've never heard of a campaign where that kind of stuff was going on, announcing sex for votes like Madonna, or the F word being used in rallies for a political candidate. How obscene! How obscene for people to do that. Alleged celebrities using that level of profanity in order to boost a candidate's image. Gosh.
Well, it fits with the candidate. I mean, there is no image.
I'm wondering about. As you said, you don't need air bliss today. That's a really, I'm delighted, absolutely delighted with the outcome. But here's the thing: it didn't look solid until the votes flipped in several of those key states, and what was it that it was not the popular vote, because according to what I read, Hillary got the popular vote, which is obviously there's skullduggery and fraud involved in that, in my opinion. But the Electoral College made the decision. So who was it that told the Electoral College to switch at the last minute? And that's what they did. So there are reports that it came from the Vatican, that the Vatican decided that, she was out. And at the last minute, she was out. And then the market had the biggest losing streak consecutively. And so there were those in the know who knew that the election was going to go to Donald Trump. But those of us who are not in the know, couldn't really see it. But now looking at all the dots, we can connect some of those dots and realize that it was the Electoral College that, and that's what we said. We don't select the president, or we don't elect the president. They select the president. And I'm delighted that in this case, the best of the two won. So going forward, what does this mean? What does this mean for the Paris Agreement? Well, I can tell you that the word I got from Europe this morning was the Paris Agreement, the Paris Treaty, if you will, about climate and maintaining climate or temperature within a very close number of degrees to pre-industrial levels is on hold. It's on hold right now because the 192 nations are in suspense, waiting for what happens when Donald Trump is sworn in and what he decides to do. So now we need to have prayers that he is not assassinated, and that is one of our greatest fears.
Yes,
Dr. Shealy, in your practice, what have people been saying about this election?
I would say a majority of the people who come to me are what I would call sane.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They're with us. Mm-hmm. It's not something that comes up, but you can tell.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Shealy, we have Werner Bach. He's a USA Preparedness instructor. He's in Canada, New Brunswick, Canada, and he has a health question or two or three for you. Welcome, Werner.
Yeah. Good morning, Vincent, and good morning, Dr. Shealy.
Good morning. What's up?
Old age is catching up on me.
Old age is catching up on you. Now, Werner,
watch your language. How old are you?
74.
Well, I consider that late teenage.
Oh, I guess. Then I get a few more miles to go.
Right. So
Werner, what happened to you?
Is a problem.
Hello?
Yeah, Werner, please share with Dr. Shealy what happened to you. You passed out, and this is the second time. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's the second time within 3 weeks.
Now, do you have high blood pressure?
No, not really.
Are you on any kind of prescription medication?
None.
Okay. And you've had a medical checkup?
Well, once in a blue moon.
Well, now this is an indication where you do need, the one thing that, in my opinion, physicians do well is make an adequate diagnosis. So you need certain tests. You need just a complete physical exam. You need an EKG, a heart electrical test. You need some basic chemistries, because those are the screening things that could tell us whether there's something that's significantly wrong that can be, treated.
Yeah.
Without having even a blood pressure monitor, a pulse, an EKG, your basic chemistries, it's almost impossible to know what's going on.
The blood pressure is within the normal range.
Good.
But I got when I was being brought in there the last time, there last week, what was high, the glucose level.
Okay. Then I need to ask you, how tall are you?
I am 1.76 meters.
Okay, and how much do you weigh?
I weigh 215 pounds.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back. We'll be right back after these few short commercial announcements, and Dr. Shealy is going to let Werner Bach know what his thoughts are. Werner, please hold that line. We'll be right back. Class, Dr. Norman Shealy is with us. normshealy.com. Werner Bach is with us in Canada, New Brunswick.
Okay,
and
now, I suspect that you have either frank diabetes or prediabetes. I don't know if they did a hemoglobin A1C. That is the definitive blood test that would give us the diagnosis.
Can that condition eventually be created through chemical exposure?
Oh, yes, all kinds of stress could cause that. Now, in your case, however, the essentials right now are to get everything under control. No wheat. Do not eat anything that has wheat in it.
Okay, thank you.
Number 2, no sugar. Not 1 milligram of added sugar in any food. Number 3, you need chromium. 1 milligram of a chromium supplement, which you get at a health food store.
1 milligram of a chromium substitute.
Every day. 1 milligram every day.
1 milligram
now, if
every
you will
day.
do those things and mildly increase your exercise, you can bring the diabetes under control.
I had enough exercise. I was going nearly every day to the woods.
Good.
And I was cutting firewood.
Wonderful.
But,
okay.
What I encountered there is Vincent is familiar with the problem. I'm getting gas here. It's a pesticide, and then I get severe pains when I'm breathing.
Severe pains breathing?
Yeah, but this is being caused by a gas that's in the air. When I'm moving out of that area, then the symptoms subside.
Interesting.
Dr. Shealy, this might be of interest to you. I did a documentary there in 2011. It's on the internet. It's called Farmer's Ordeal, where I was dealing with health problems with my cattle and massive killing of my cattle. And I was being bullshitted by the veterinarians, so I started doing autopsies. And have a look at it. Farmer's Ordeal. Down-to-earth science.
Okay.
I reason when there is a massive chemical influence.
Right.
That basically upsets the whole apple cart.
Oh, of course. Now, then I would suggest the simplest way for detoxification is a castor oil suit. After you've taken your bath or shower and dried off, rub castor oil from the bottom of your neck down to your wrists and all the way down to your ankles. And put on an old sweatsuit and sleep in it every night. This is the single quickest, best way to detoxify the body.
Yeah, I know sweating is good. It drives a lot of the bad stuff out of the body. Exactly.
And you could reuse that same old suit for 4 or 5 days, wash it, and reuse it again as a castor oil suit.
Does it give quite a smell, too?
No, it doesn't. The castor oil doesn't have much odor.
Okay.
And it's really good for your overall health.
Yeah. Because, as I say, I never had those kind of problems before, but I knew when I was breathing in that gas, it was giving me pain in the lungs, in the left hand side of the lungs, and the pain would radiate underneath the arms and all the way down into my wrist.
Oh yeah, well, poison is poison.
Yeah, and I knew that I was cutting it close, but work had to be done, So anyway, but thank you, Dr. Shealy.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks for calling.
Werner, but before you go, I wrote down what Dr. Shealy recommended, and it's no wheat, no sugar, chromium as a supplement, 1 milligram per day, mildly increase your exercise, and a castor oil.
Chromium per day.
Chromium, 1 milligram per day. And I'm going to call you and make sure you do these things. We'll be right back. Dr. Norm Shealy is with us. Werner's still with us. Werner, please continue.
Hello, Dr. Shealy?
Yes.
I forgot about to mention this. There was another form where they checked on HS-tropamine. It's supposed to be a cardiac enzyme, and the level was extremely high. It was 1/3 over the upper threshold.
Okay.
Level was 45.
And did they make any recommendations for treating it?
Not. I was supposed to be referred to the local physician at the medical center. But,
right.
I don't have much confidence in.
Well, again, my most important test would still be a hemoglobin A1C. That tells us unequivocally whether you're pre-diabetic or frankly diabetic. And either one of those, along with your exposure to this gas stuff, could certainly have triggered not only trouble with your pancreas, but with the heart. So I would concentrate on being sure to get a hemoglobin A1C and go from there. But otherwise, I'd still recommend the castor oil suit and the other things I've already said.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Shealy.
You're most welcome.
Well,
Thank you, Werner. I'll be
never too old to learn.
Good.
Werner. I'm going to be calling you to make sure you do all these things.
Okay, thanks, Winston.
Thank you, Werner. Dr. Shealy, Werner Bach calls me all the time from New Brunswick, Canada, just to see how I'm doing. And we have never met, but he's a farmer just about 10 years older than I am. I'm 64, and he's 73. But he knows a lot about farming, and as a matter of fact, he's scheduled to be on the air with us on Friday.
Good.
So he's going to share his wisdom. But I detected something in his voice when he called me a couple days ago, and I said, Dr. Shealy is going to be on with us on Wednesday. Please call in and make sure you ask all of your questions. So thank you, Dr. Shealy, for
Oh, of course. Delighted.
for helping. And so, Dr. Shealy, what was it that led you to that diagnosis that he has pre-diabetes or frank diabetes? What was
Well,
it that
the
led
fact
you to
that he passed out and had a high blood sugar at the time. Now, anything that causes you to pass out can raise your blood sugar, but then I looked at his weight in relation to his height, and so he, he's a bit overweight, and so he really needs to be careful about, diabetes and prediabetes can cause, prediabetes can cause trouble up to 10 years before it becomes frank diabetes.
Mm-hmm. Is that where, or why we say, frankly speaking, means absolutely, as a matter of fact? Is that what that means?
Yes.
For sure? Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Dr. Shealy, is it possible that eating carbohydrates, too many carbohydrates, wheat, pasta, and those kinds of foods could lead to this?
Yes, especially in today's world where the wheat is all poisoned by Monsanto.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, Dr. Shealy, then what would you recommend? Can you give us a meal plan for those of us who want to be healthy and want either to recover from pre-diabetes, frank diabetes, or just plain avoid it altogether? What would breakfast be, Dr. Shealy?
Well, breakfast would be 2 eggs, bacon or ham,
2 eggs,
a small serving of some kind of real juice, 6 ounces of juice. Now, it could conceivably involve pure oatmeal, but with no sugar or raisins or things like that in it. And if I were making oatmeal, I would whip in 2 eggs and some cheese.
Okay. Any particular cheese that you would recommend?
I have to say I love almost any kind of cheese, but it would probably be extra sharp cheddar.
Okay, extra sharp cheddar. All right. Let me make sure I repeat this for our class. 2 eggs, bacon or ham, 6 ounces of real juice, pure oatmeal. That's the unsugared, unsweetened oatmeal. No raisins, no sugar. You can add cheese if you'd like, and Dr. Shealy's first choice is extra sharp cheddar. Okay. Now, do we need to moderate bacon or ham at all, or can this be daily?
I think it's fine. I don't think you need to worry about it as long as you're getting plenty of vitamin C.
Okay, let's add some vitamin C. Now, how much vitamin C, Dr. Shealy?
Well, I think everybody would benefit from taking 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C. But when you do that, you've got to increase your B complex. You've got to take at least 25 milligrams of a good B complex, B1, B2, B3, B6.
B1, B2, B3, B6.
It's called B complex.
B complex. Okay, anything else should we take any of the other supplements at that time while we're having breakfast, Dr. Shealy?
Well, I take, As you know, I have a tackle box of supplements. I also, of course, once a week take my vitamin D3, 50,000, and astaxanthin. I mean, those are the basics to me.
Okay, and what dosage of astaxanthin?
Well, I take 20 milligrams. I think everybody should take at least 10.
10 milligrams. Okay. So for breakfast, it's 2 eggs, bacon or ham, real juice, 6 ounces. That can be orange juice. Could it be tomato juice? Could it be
apple juice? Any real juice.
Okay. Pure oatmeal, no sugar nor raisins. You can add cheese, extra sharp cheddar is what I would do and what Dr. Shealy does. Vitamin C, 2,000 milligrams. 25 milligrams of vitamin B complex, which is B1, B2, B3, B6. And then once a week, vitamin D3, 50,000 units. So if you want to make that on Monday, you can do that Monday, and then next Monday, 50,000 units again. And astaxanthin, a minimum of 10 milligrams. Dr. Shealy takes 20. Okay, great. What do we do for lunch? Now, I don't see any wheat in there, so...
No, wheat. I haven't eaten wheat in 10 years.
Okay.
I gave it up.
Mm-hmm. All right. What about lunch?
Lunch, well, any kind of meat, flesh food, rabbit, pork, whatever, and any kind of non-starchy vegetables, unlimited.
Okay. Pork, rabbit, beef, okay?
Oh, yeah. Fish, poultry, whatever. Real meat.
Okay. Now, how do we find fish that does not swim in the ocean? So they have to be freshwater fish? Is that what you're saying?
Well, interestingly, I have a friend who brings me fish at least twice a month from caught in one of the local lakes, catfish.
Okay.
That's one possibility. And there are other lake fish, you can get walleye and things like that.
Mm-hmm. But we're avoiding the ocean, right?
Well, especially the Pacific Ocean.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so for lunch we're going to have some meat, pork, rabbit, beef, poultry, fish, which could be, freshwater fish or no fish from the Pacific. Okay, what else? You said vegetables?
Well, any kind of vegetable is not starch.
Okay, what would you recommend?
Well, any kind of green leafy vegetable, spinach, real lettuce. I don't like iceberg lettuce. I think it's sort of junky. But romaine or Chinese cabbage or kale. My favorite really is kale.
Mm-hmm.
And, tomatoes, carrots, whatever in it. And then dinner is pretty much the same. You could have baked sweet potatoes.
Okay.
But I almost never eat Irish potatoes because they are starch.
Okay. So the white potatoes are off the menu. Boy. White potatoes, pasta. Huh. Those are two of the food groups.
Right.
Okay. So dinner, very much the same. Have some meat, vegetables, sweet potatoes. Now, sweet potatoes are considered a superfood, right?
Exactly. Of all the starchy vegetables, it is the one that is really good for you.
Okay. How about mushrooms?
Oh, well, I love mushrooms. I've had them the last couple of nights.
Okay. And how do you prepare those, Dr. Shealy?
Well, I pour a little bit of virgin olive oil in the pan and just saute them.
Okay. Can you eat them raw?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And is it better if we eat raw mushrooms?
Well, there's mixed evidence there. I think the evidence is that they still retain a huge amount of immune enhancement when cooked. And I do prefer the taste of them when they're cooked.
Okay.
But that's a taste preference, not a nutritional preference.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so of the no-nos, the absolute do not eat, artificial colors?
Junk.
Mm-hmm.
Monosodium glutamate, junk.
Yeah, MSG. Okay. That lets out a lot of restaurants.
That leaves out most restaurants, but especially McDonald's and its clones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So artificial colors. How about soda? Absolutely not.
That's bottled junk. There's not one. I wouldn't even drink the water they put in it.
Okay. When we come back, I'm going to tell you a story about Coca-Cola bottling. This happened to us. Now, class, don't think that we had Coca-Cola, but I want to talk about Coca-Cola bottling. We'll be right back. Dr. Norm Shealy with us, and what a great day. What a great day. We're going to restore beauty to the White House. Won't that be nice? Won't that be nice to have a pretty first lady? We could have had a guy. Could have had a guy with with a zipper.
Not only a guy, but a sycophile.
Yeah, a predator. We could have had a predator,
right? Yeah,
as the first zipper, and I'm just delighted that we don't have to listen to much more of Hillary in the future. It's such a blessing to not have to put up with her ilk anymore and her crimes, and I'm looking forward to the Trump administration arresting these sycophants, these criminals, these unconvicted criminals, and I'm looking forward to them being locked up and doing hard time, not recreational time, hard time. Dr. Shealy, so one of our boys decided that we needed to have some iced tea for travels, and we were going to head to the East Coast for my 45th high school reunion. And so in the trunk of the vehicle was a case of Gold Peak iced tea in plastic bottles. And I didn't have any, so I don't know what the actual taste was like. But Mrs. Finelli tried a bottle, and it didn't taste right. Our son tried a bottle, it didn't taste right. One of his friends who came to rescue us when we were stranded in Maryland had some, and he threw it out as well. So Mrs. Finelli called the 800 number about this, and it's provided by the Coca-Cola Company. It says,
well, that means it's junk already, doesn't it?
Right.
And they're right up there above McDonald's and being junk food.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's what happened. So she was on the phone. She said, didn't taste right. And do you know that they took her very seriously? Absolutely seriously. So call after call came into the farmhouse about this tea, and they wanted to pick it up, and they wanted to get it all, and they wanted to analyze it. And so I actually picked up the phone, and I got a call from the chief operations officer at a Coca-Cola bottler, and he said that he wanted to get this, and he was going to send somebody, and they were arranging it. And they did not want us to think that, they would drop the ball at all. So we received a bunch of phone calls, and so I said, so great. So you're going to pick this up. Now, are we going to know what happened? No. They will not tell us. They will not tell us what happened to this tea, but they are extremely concerned, and they sent a guy out in a red Coca-Cola pickup truck with a lift gate on the back, and he came over and he picked up the tea, and I said, you can have all of it except 2. I'm keeping 2 because you're not going to tell us. You're not going to tell us what happened to it, so I may find out for myself.
Yeah.
I may have this independently.
Oh, guys, this is why I love this man. He's so practical.
So now they know. I made sure that everybody knew that they were getting some, but not all, because they won't tell me. They will not tell me, because I have a feeling they think that I might tell our class. So what do you do? What do you do when? And they replaced the product, but
did you taste the new replacement?
No, no, no. I'm not going to drink it. I'm not going to drink it. No. It's just sitting in the garage. So I don't know what we're going to do with it. But here's a couple things I noticed. I noticed that they were interested in replacing, what they thought was the exact number. But what they did not do is they didn't say, I am so sorry. I'll tell you what, how about if we throw in a case of Coke, a case of Sprite, a case of, how about, would it be okay if we gave you 5 cases, of our other poisons? They didn't do that. So they are trying to make sure that we don't know what happened with Gold Peak tea. So what am I going to do from now on? I'm not drinking it. I'm not telling our audience, our class what to do, but I'm not drinking it. Dr. Shealy and I'll be right back, and I'll share with you what happened with our electric bill. What a great day. Lock her up. First. Gosh, this is hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. Dr. Norman Shealy is with us. NormShealy.com. Dr. Shealy, are you speaking tonight?
Yes, we're talking about preventing and treating the number one popular way to die, heart attack.
Okay. Can you share some highlights before I tell you about our electric bill?
Well, basically, there are a half a dozen tools that are quite necessary, useful, and remarkably effective in preventing heart disease. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to concentrate on those, and even if you already got the disease but have survived it, you can still turn things around. So we will really concentrate on all of those things, because since it is the top killer in the country, it's worth preventing.
Okay, that is tonight at the DoubleTree Hotel, Springfield, Missouri. Is that from 6 to 7?
6 to 7.
6
and time
to 7.
To answer their questions after.
Yeah. So Dr. Shealy will be on stage tonight, absolutely free, in a theater. It's at the DoubleTree Hotel. It's a wonderful, wonderful speaking room, and it's wonderful for those learning. We have been there together, and Dr. Shealy has been there many times. DoubleTree Hotel, Springfield, Missouri. There's free parking. The event is free. You'll get a chance to meet Dr. Shealy in person, ask him your questions, and it's going to be limited to, if there's standing room only, about 100 people. Right, Dr. Shealy?
Right.
If it's standing room only. Okay. Absolutely free. So, class, I suggest you take advantage of that. That's in Springfield, Missouri. Okay. So, I heard Mrs. Finelli on the phone. I came into the kitchen after the broadcast, and I heard Mrs. Finelli on the phone, and it sounded like she was talking with our electrical cooperative. And it sounded like she wasn't happy with the bill that she got. And she wasn't happy because it was not an actual reading. Now, we, as most people in the United States, have the smart meter. And so these smart meters are supposed to be really a boon to society, and they're going to help us out, and they're going to let the utility know when there's a power outage or a failure of some kind, and they're going to be right here, right after the failure, fixing it. And that's what we've been led to believe, and there's going to be lower costs because these smart meters have eliminated the jobs of meter readers. So anyway, what happened was our electric bill is running, let's say $100 a month. Usually it's less than $100 a month. So we do everything, the farming and the broadcasting and all that, for less than $100 a month typically, but we'll say $100. And the bill came in at $176.
Wow, sounds like Medicare.
and then it says, well, this is not an actual reading. This is a computer estimated reading. So she said, well, what's with you guys? I mean, you look at last year, it was way less than $100 for the month that they're billing us for. And this month, for the corresponding month of this year, you want to charge us almost double. And so she said, it's really not the money, it's the principle. And she got nowhere. She got the party line. So I said, well, let me call them. So I was very calm. But Laclede Electric hit a stone wall with me. And I explained to them, I said, well, do you know who I am? Because let me just tell you, I ran for the board of directors of Laclede Electric Co-op because I wasn't happy with the smart meters. And I can tell you that based on the result of this call, I may have to run again. Now, that would be really bad for Laclede Electric, the management. It'd be really good for the membership. So let's talk about this. And I explained that the estimated reading by this computer program that they have is higher now, 13 days into the new billing cycle. It's higher than the actual reading 13 days after the computer estimated reading. So what I'm saying is a month and a half after the estimated reading, our meter says it's lower than their estimate. So I told them that it's just a principle thing, and I absolutely, positively will not pay for somebody else's bill. I will be delighted to pay for our bill, the electricity that we used, and no more. Not 1 cent more. I will not do it. And I drew that line in the sand, and I made it very clear that I was not going to accept their estimate of how much they think we owe. But what I was going to do is I was going to make my own estimate of what I think we should pay. And that's all they're getting. And I will not accept fines and late fees and penalties as a result of my estimate. So I let them do the math with me. And they agreed that my number was right. And so they have this note in the system that I would be paying and it's a little higher than I would normally agree to. But the gal, her name is Shealy, came up with, and me, $93.13. That's what our electric bill should be. But her boss called me, and her boss, Joe, said, no, it really should be $111.71. And I said, okay, let's go through the math. And we went through it, and we agreed that we will send them $111.71, not the almost $200 that they wanted. So, here's the reason I'm taking Dr. Shealy's time to tell you this is, class, you can take a stand against the big machine, and you can win. You have to be firm, and you have to use logic, and you have to be polite. And of course, Mrs. Finelli didn't yell and scream, and neither did I. It was very, very polite, but very, very firm. And I've been watching Columbo on Netflix, and I'm just reminding myself of how he did things. And he tried to be very polite. He apologized a lot because he didn't understand, but he wanted to make sure he got the facts correctly. And that's what we do. We want to make sure that we get the facts correct, and we want to make sure that we are not taken advantage of. So, Dr. Shealy, is this a genetic thing that has happened to me, and then maybe through osmosis, it's rubbed off on the rest of the family? Because I'm noticing everyone in our family is very polite, but taking a very hard line when someone is trying to cheat us. Well, do you think it's genetic? Do you think it? Because my mother did not come out swinging. I mean, when she's very polite. You know her. She doesn't come out swinging. So it certainly wasn't nurture that did this to me, I don't think. But I think it's nurture that...
It could partially environment, but let's face it, you have just proven beyond any doubt whatsoever that smart meters suck.
Oh, absolutely.
If they have to estimate what your use is, it means they are a total fraud, among other things.
Well, an interesting thing is, they've decided, when I was on the phone, I said, well, I'll tell you what, since you have this smart meter, and I'm telling you that the estimated reading is higher than the actual reading 13 days into the new billing cycle, and I said, do you believe me? And she said, well, I'm trying to ping your meter right now to get a response so I can...
But I can't get in touch with it. Oh, dear.
That's exactly right. She could not get in touch with the meter. So they said, all right, we're going to send a guy out. And I said, well, that's great. But I'm going to be here. So let's make an appointment. So what they were telling me initially was they're going to send a guy out on their schedule. And I said, No, 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 I don't think that's going to work. It's actually going to have to be on my schedule because my gate is locked. Now, it doesn't have to be that my gate is locked, but I'm going to lock it to make sure that it's on my schedule. And so we agreed on a specific day and time. And I said, well, it's going to have to be after 11:30 because I'm on the air until 11 and then so anytime after 11:30. But I need you to call me at my home and let me know when you're coming so I can let you in. And I will be with you while you're here. By the way, so what do you think happened to the meter? Can you tell me what happened to the meter? What is your prognosis? What is your opinion as to what you're going to do? What happened? What is the cause? And they said, well, and this guy hemmed and hawed. He's the engineer that comes out. He hemmed and hawed because he didn't want to tell me. He didn't want to tell me the weaknesses of their system. So right. I will be there. I will be there with him, and I will report on the weaknesses of their system here on the air. And so I'm going to be with him. He's not walking around my farm. I'm going to escort him in and out.
Folks, we are talking to the master. Be prepared.
So the bottom line is you're in charge. I've told my sheriff, don't come on my property. Do not trespass. Mike Parsons, welcome. You're on the air with Dr. Norman Shealy. Welcome.
Hello?
Mike Parsons, are you there?
Okay.
Mike, do you have your phone on hold? Do you have it on mute? I've clicked, put Mike Parsons on the air. John, our engineer, is Mike there? Okay, well, let me put Mike back on hold. Mike's back on hold, and we'll see if our engineer can. Oh, okay, very good. Okay, Mike is just listening. I guess our listen lines are down, and he didn't have anything to say about today's specific topics. Class, while you're here, November 12th and November 13th, gun shows. You can top off those items that you need to top off. Jackson, Tennessee. Chattanooga, Tennessee. RK Gun Shows. Jackson, Tennessee, and Chattanooga, Tennessee. November 12th and 13th. So you may want to go there. Okay, Dr. Shealy, what items would you like to share with our class before I get into some of my questions?
Well, I think the single most important thing is to get your act together every day of your life.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about what that means afterwards.
Okay. Dr. Norman Shealy is with us, normshealy.com, normshealy.com. And for those of you thinking about doing something nice for friends and family, you might want to consider going to normshealy.com, and you might want to get some magnesium lotion. We'll be right back. Lock them up. And lock her up first. Dr. Shealy's with us. Getting things in order. We were talking about preparedness, and you were going to continue in this segment.
Well, basically, take care of your health. That is your responsibility. No one else can or will do it adequately for you. So it means think right, act right, eat right, sleep right, and take certain supplements like vitamin D3, 50,000 units, either once a week or once every 10 days if you weigh less than 140 pounds. And, no one can do it except you, just as no one can be prepared with food in case of emergencies and other such things. The basic of be prepared. Something that I've thought about since I was age 12 and joined the Boy Scouts.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Shealy, I got a call from one of our instructors, and she's going to be on the air with us in a few days. And she was absolutely furious that you were banned from the meetup. As a matter of fact, she's a nurse, and she's going to be on the air with us in a few days. And she was so angry. She was like, her voice was raised. And it's like, how could they even think? How could they even think of doing this to someone like Dr. Shealy with his credentials? And she just went on and on. So she is going to be, I'm pretty darn sure, it's going to be a 1-hour rant about how dumb people can be and not take advice and counsel. And so my question, Mike Parsons is on hold, and he'll be on with us in just a minute. My question is, have you ever met anyone who has taken your advice and has said, Dr. Shealy, I never should have taken that vitamin C. I never should have used that magnesium lotion. I never should have taken Dr. Shealy's supplements. I never should have used, Nixol. I never should have used magnesium lotion. Have you met anyone at all, who said they shouldn't have taken your advice? Anyone?
No. Well, there's that one guy. There's a fundamentalist who was running the meeting that caused all the kerfuffle. But fundamentalists have no fun. That's the real problem with them. They have their heads stuck up in a dark space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mike in Tennessee, Mike Parsons, you were on hold before, and I'm glad to have you back. You have a question for Dr. Norman Shealy?
Greetings, Dr. Shealy. So, Dr. Shealy, are you saying that there are people out there still suffering from anal retinitis?
Anal retinitis, yes, you're right. And it's about 35% of the population, in case you haven't noticed.
Well, what I was going to ask you kind of dovetails into what that other instructor is going to talk about, in that I find that there are people out there that want to control other people, though we, the people, aren't hurting them. They want to control us, and they want to dictate our lives to us, and they want us to be just like them. And I can't understand the warped mentality of someone like that. I look at all these people that were Clinton supporters, and they will step over a mile-long train of dead bodies and butcher babies in these abortion clinics to want to support someone for ilk. And they say Trump is Illuminati or some nonsense like that. It's like the guy is against the system. That's why all these Republicans came out against him, because they are part of that system. He is not status quo. They support status quo. That's why Canada and many other communist countries supported Clinton in their straw polls. How do you reach those people? I believe it has to do with they would rather be well-kept slaves than be independent, self-sufficient, self-governing, and take care of themselves as you and I preach.
Well, the interesting thing is that you can't cure stupidity.
Is it a lack of magnesium, perhaps, or a lack of vitamin C?
It's a lack of brain.
I think so.
I think they have a vacuum up there.
Well, that's probably
Mike,
another reason you should take cholesterol meds.
Yes.
Mike, anything else? I think we've lost Mike Parsons. Okay, very good. Very good. Thank you, Mike, for calling in. Dr. Shealy and I'll be right back. NormShealy.com. Class, Dr. Norman Shealy is with us. NormShealy.com. He's with us on Wednesdays. And if you'd like to sign up for the same free newsletter that I get multiple times per week, just go to NormShealy.com. Norm, as in Norman, Shealy, SHEALY.com. And you can sign up for his free newsletter. You can get your bliss oils there. You can get buy his books there. And you can get free health information. Optimal health information is available. So I suggest you consider going to normshealy.com and signing up for that free newsletter. And that email address that you're going to provide does not get sold. I'm just saying that when someone signs up for your newsletter, you don't sell or trade or give away those email addresses. They are just right. So class, you can. Yep, it's private. Dr. Shealy, there's in this world we live in, we are quite obsessed with hygiene. If we're fortunate enough to have a job, we don't want to stink on the job. And, so we bathe and we use all kinds of personal hygiene products, and we use deodorant, and hopefully we don't use antiperspirants that contain aluminum. But we don't want to smell as when we're out in the public, so we're doing our civic duty. But now the question is it possible that this obsession with personal hygiene, not smelling, using deodorants, applying these things to our skin, killing the bacteria that are on our skin, is there a balance in nature that we are altering with detergents and soaps and antibacterial products that we apply to our skin?
Yes. I mean, basically, I don't recommend antiperspirants. I think that's the one that really is the most serious, and mainly that's because I don't know an antiperspirant that doesn't have aluminum in it. Those so-called stones that health food stores promote are pure aluminum oxide. I mean, that's got to be a greater ripoff as the government. So I don't recommend them at all. There are, the simplest, probably least expensive is Nixol. It does kill the bacteria that produce body odor. And that is something I could certainly recommend, that particular thing. But I do think you need to be careful about using antibacterial soap, because our skin is loaded with bacteria, most of which are good bacteria.
And the bacteria, that's the good bacteria, is fighting off potential disease and afflictions that we may get as a result of it not. It's better that it's there than not there.
Exactly.
I guess is what you're saying, right?
A sterile skin is open to any kind of attack.
Okay. And so let me say what I've been doing. In the shower we have shampoo, we have conditioner. Very, very, very rarely will I use conditioner. And I was thinking that maybe I don't have long hair right now. I might have what might be termed a banker's haircut. It's not, it's not short, but it's not long. And what I've been doing is shampooing my hair every couple of days and just rinsing my hair really well under the shower. Is that a good thing or not a good thing? I don't have any bugs, no critters in my hair, even though I live on a farm.
My hair is, what there is of it is short. And literally, I do shampoo it every day. It's just part of my bath. I don't think it's bad to do that at all.
Okay, is that shampoo or is that soap? Or
no, it's shampoo.
A detergent bar.
I do use. Okay. I don't know. My wife convinced me, 55 years or so ago, that I shouldn't use soap on my hair.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, but I'm glad you brought that up, because you know what? I tested something a couple of months ago, and did you know that regular old liquid soap, plain liquid soap, not antibacterial, just liquid soap, is infinitely better for putting on your face to shave than a shaving cream? It is so much smoother.
Dr. Shealy, I shave in the shower.
Yes.
I'll tell you what I do. I literally I use a bar of Zest, and that's currently what I'm using. But we've used, when we buy soap, we'll buy several years worth. Maybe like 10 years worth, literally. And we have a rack in the shower where we let the soap dry off, and the water doesn't run on it, so and soften it. So the bars of soap last a much longer time in our shower than maybe they might if they sit on one of those ledges that are always soaked with water on one of those shower stalls or bathtub surrounds. So we have one of these less than $10 racks that hangs on the shower shower head area. And the soap dries from the bottom and all sides. So the soap stays hard and it lasts much longer. But what I do, is when I'm in the shower, I'll take that bar of soap and I'll wash my face with it. And then when I'm shaving, I will take that bar that has been wet and my face is wet, and I'll rub that bar directly against the area that I'm going to shave. And then I will use the razor that's in the shower, and I'll shave with that. And by doing that, a disposable razor will last about a year, literally a year. And it does not wear out the blades the way shaving cream will wear out a blade. We're made to think that a shaving cream is, the way to go, but I don't think it is, because I don't think we wash our faces after shaving cream, but I wash my face after shaving in the shower. So it takes a little bit longer, and I don't see where I'm going when I'm shaving. However, I very rarely cut myself. And then I take that same bar of soap, and I rub it in the palm of my left hand, and I take my right hand, and against the base of my thumb in my palm, I sharpen the razor with the soap going backwards against that part of my thumb, and that razor blade gets sharpened just by rubbing against my skin maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and then I rinse it off, and I can keep using that blade over and over. And the trick is to get the soap off it, to rinse that blade really well so it has no soap on it, and let it dry. And that's the trick to having a disposable razor, a quality disposable razor, last a year. So that's how I do it, Dr. Shealy. Mm-hmm.
Well,
and I got a call from Kyle in Montana, and he said he tried it and it absolutely works. And yes, it does. It absolutely works. So I've got a jar of razors that I bought. Oh, it's got to be at least 20 years ago. I bought a jar of them, a small jar of them, and I've got half of them left. So, and those are the razors I use. Dr. Shealy,
prepared.
Yeah. TV dinners. I was reading a story about TV dinners, and I remember back in maybe the 1950s, 1960s, and these were these aluminum TV dinner trays, and you could heat them up in the oven, and wow, in 25, 30 minutes you'd have a dinner with mashed potatoes and some beef or turkey and some vegetables, and it was all right there, and no fuss, no muss. Well, a story that I read said that eating TV dinners, or eating in front of the TV, meaning sitting down on the couch, the sofa, eating a dinner, regardless of what it is, might be bad for us because we're going to eat food that's not good for us, but we don't quite know it because we are being distracted by the tube. So we might eat something this isn't so good for us, but we'll eat it because it's convenient, and this television distracts us. What an interesting observation that is, right?
Absolutely on target. I can't imagine a so-called TV dinner that doesn't have junk in it. Right, and they show pizzas, and if you get one of those Supreme pizzas, it's got BHA, BHT, other carcinogens in some of the meats that are in there, the sausage and the pepperoni and so forth. What are your thoughts on pepperoni, Dr. Shealy? Well, sounds like an excellent food to me.
Pepperoni?
Of course. Pepperoni? Why not?
Okay. I thought you might be
food.
concerned I thought you might be concerned because of the preservatives in it.
Well, I presume you're talking about the nitrates and nitrites.
Yeah, and the BHA and the BHA and the yeah.
Well, DHA is good.
No, not DHA. B as in boy.
Oh, BHA.
Yes.
Oh, I guess I haven't paid attention to that. I think if I take adequate vitamin C, I don't worry about that kind of stuff.
Okay. All right.
Vitamin
How
C
about? Okay. So vitamin C is the thing that we must take. And that's a really interesting point, Dr. Shealy, because when I was growing up, if you had a cold, take some vitamin C. If you didn't feel well, take some vitamin C. If you had sniffles, runny nose, watery eyes, take some vitamin C. And it was like the answer, the single go-to answer for, not feeling well. And you've been saying this for years and years, and I wonder how many people are really still paying attention to vitamin C. And I have a feeling we're not getting enough of it in our diet. Oh,
very few people are. The so-called minimum daily requirement is 60 milligrams. Manuel Sarasky showed back in the late 70s that optimal was at least 1,000 milligrams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so your recommendation is a minimum of 1,000 and probably 2,000 is what we should take. Is that correct? Do I have that right?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. And now, are there any problems with some of us taking 1,000 milligrams or a gram of vitamin C? Diarrhea or
anytime
anything
you increase it above 100 milligrams, you do need increased vitamin B6. That's one of the reasons that I recommend, the at least 25 milligrams of B complex.
I had a roommate in college, and he said, if you're going to go out drinking and you're worried about that hangover, all you have to do is have a big glass of water before you go to bed and vitamin B complex. Dr. Shealy, is there any truth to that?
Absolutely good.
Absolutely good. Okay. We'll be right back right after these few short commercial announcements, and I'd like to talk with Dr. Shealy about these big bellies that guys are getting. Dr. Norman Shealy is with us. And class, did you know Volvo? Volvo is owned by a Chinese holding company. The Volvo Car Corporation, a Swedish luxury vehicle manufacturer established 1927, it's headquartered in Sweden, is a wholly owned subsidiary of a company known as Geely of China. Just wanted to let you know that Volvo that you may be thinking about buying is owned by a Chinese holding company. So, Dr. Shealy, I noticed that after my stomach surgery or I started developing this little gut, and I talked to my doctor about that, and I said, I don't think I like looking pregnant. And she looked at me and said, it's only a couple pounds, no big deal. But I see a lot of guys and I'm working on getting rid of it, and there is a link between gluten and I believe in these bellies. So this excess of visceral fat is now being talked about as being linked to an increased risk of type 2 diabetes and colorectal cancer and Alzheimer's.
And heart disease.
And heart disease. Now, is it the symptom? Is the belly the symptom saying, pay attention because, how can you miss this?
Well, I don't know that it's the reason, but it just happens that it is an indication of a metabolic, that's what's called a metabolic syndrome. In other words, you're not metabolizing sugar adequately. Remember, we can turn protein into sugar. Mm-hmm. We cannot turn sugar into protein. Mm-hmm. And so any carbohydrate or sugar and wheat, has a crummy type of protein. It's not a quality protein at all. More important, it has some Roundup in it. And so it's one of the great offenders. It just interferes with your total metabolic system.
So, Dr. Shealy, are you saying that without a doubt that eating wheat can cause a belly on a guy to just get bigger and bigger and bigger?
Yes.
Okay. So, class, if you've got one of these, you now know what to do. Get rid of the wheat. And so is the plan, Dr. Shealy, so in my case, let's say I've got a couple pounds, and actually it's, it's getting smaller, so it's not so bad. If I wanted to get rid of the last 2 pounds of this, if that's all I have, I think that is.
That's it.
Exercise more.
Obvious.
And, okay, no sugar, no wheat, right? Those two things?
That's it. Those are the two.
There you go. So, class, if you didn't get anything else out of today's broadcast, if you're growing one of these, bellies, get rid of the sugar and get rid of the wheat. And then I'd like to hear what you found. Give us a call. Let us know. Give us a couple weeks or a month and let us know what you found out. I read, Dr. Shealy, that not enough vitamin D, which you've been talking about, vitamin D, increases the risk of bladder cancer by preventing the immune response.
Well, of course, at the top of my list for immune strength is vitamin D3, but remember, you also need some K2.
Mm-hmm.
K2
Right.
works quite synergistically. They're sort of like Siamese twins with the D3. But as I think everyone knows, I've been on 50,000 once a week for well over almost 11 years.
Dr. Shealy, what if we're going to look at how much it costs to have the right vitamins and mineral supplements? If we wanted the minimum to be healthy, not the maximum, just the minimum? About how much would it cost us a year, do you think?
About $1,000.
$1,000. And so how much is health care, or alleged health care?
Well, you're going to probably save $2,500 a year on health care.
There you go. So it's crazy not to do it.
You got it.
Absolutely crazy not to do it. So Dr. Shealy is going to be on stage tonight at the Doubletree from 6 to 7, live presentation. Doubletree Hotel, Springfield, Missouri. Absolutely free. And there'll be questions, time for questions, and meeting Dr. Shealy right after that. So if you're in the neighborhood, I hope you can make it. Dr. Shealy, thank you so much for being with us. Class, it's a great day. It's a great day. We don't have a dike in the White House.